Okay. Yeah, strangers. What is up,
Why?
strangers? I'm Britt,
And I'm D.
and welcome to another episode of It's
It's
a
a
Strange
strange
World
world after
After
all.
All. The podcast. What if I said it like that? The
Don't
podcast where
do
we
that.
discuss true crime cases, the supernatural, urban legends, conspiracy theories, and all of the things that keep the world strange. What I sound like? Who sound like that? Barney. Ah! I'm having technical difficulties.
Yes. Is that what you were going for?
Nah, not maybe. I don't know. Just kind of like
Okay.
judge it up. I don't know. This just felt like it needed to
Okay.
be more. Like it needed some
That's what you're
stank.
going with. You're not going to do it over?
You
You're
didn't
going to
feel like
keep
it
it that
needed
way?
no stank on it.
I mean, that's you. That's all you.
I can do it again, but we both know what's going to happen.
I know. That's why I said.
But I'll do it again just for peace of mind.
No, you don't
The
have
pot
to.
the podcast where we discuss true crime cases, the supernatural, urban legends, conspiracy theories, and all of the things that keep the world strange.
In today's episode, we discuss the Atlanta child murders. The Atlanta child murders were a series of murders committed in Atlanta, Georgia between July 1979 and May 1981. Over this 2-year period, at least 28 African American children, adolescents, and adults were killed.
And if any of you have ever heard anything about this case, or everything about this case, you know that it is a lot.
Yes,
A lot.
it's so much.
Yes, it
This took
is.
me, I want to say, it took me a little over a month to do this one.
Oh, the
So,
researcher.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a lot. So I can see why it would take you that long. Also, so just, hang in there with us. We're gonna try our best
Please.
to, you know, stay focused, but life happens. But
That is true.
in mid 1979, Edward Hope Smith and Alfred Evans disappeared 4 days apart. They were both 14 years old. On July 28th, 1979, their bodies were found in a wooded area. Edward Smith had a 22 caliber gunshot wound in his upper back. They were believed to be the first victims of the Atlanta child killer.
The next victim, 14-year-old Milton Harvey, disappeared on September 4th while on an errand to the bank for his mother. He was riding a yellow bike, which was found a week later in a remote area of Atlanta. His body wasn't found until November of that year.
What's that? 2 months?
Yeah, 2
Possibly.
months.
Okay.
Yeah, just about.
On October 21st, 9-year-old Yusuf Bell went to the store to purchase snuff, a smokeless tobacco made from ground or pulverized tobacco leaves, for a neighbor at Reese Grocery on McDaniel Street. That stuff people chew? No. Do you chew
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. And they get it all in their teeth.
Yeah. I didn't mean to say disgusting,
No,
but
it's not. I mean,
I don't want to shame people who might still do that. Your little twist moving around at the top of your head.
it's a bun. It's a twisted
Oh,
bun, ma'am. It wasn't just one twist. Why would I just have just one twist?
I don't know. That's
Fashion.
you.
A witness claims she saw Yusuf getting into a blue car before he disappeared. That's crazy that back then they were sending kids to go buy like tobacco products or alcohol products for them.
Yeah. just going anywhere because the other one, he was at the bank.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They were like little adults.
Yeah. And I saw this post on Facebook. It said about kids in the 80s and 90s. And it
Mm.
was like, our parents don't know just how far we went on our bikes. I was like, that is true.
That's
That
funny.
is true. But it's crazy because it was a lot different back then.
Yeah, it was. Have you ever seen what is that? That commercial with those kids like doing adult things?
For that Netflix show?
I don't know what it was for. It could have all maybe been like an insurance commercial too, but it was like the one
Oh,
kid had on like a trench coat and was walking with like a briefcase and was like walking into the
no, I did
office.
not.
And
I thought you.
then oh
I
wait, no,
thought you were
too
talking
that too.
about
I
that
seen that
show. I
preview
think it's
too.
called Old Enough.
Is it that preview where they
And
make
they,
them kids go do? Go ahead. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, they go like grocery shopping and stuff.
I've seen that
Yes.
too. That's funny.
Yeah, it's like Japanese or Korean or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay.
Yusuf's body was found on November 8th in the abandoned E.P. Johnson Elementary School by a janitor. Yusuf's body was found clothed in the brown shorts he was last seen wearing, but they had a piece of masking tape stuck to them. He had been hit over the head twice, and the official cause of death was strangulation. For unknown reasons, police did not immediately link his disappearance to the previous killings. I wonder why. Well, maybe it was too early. Because by this time, it was what, three kids? Well, I would have linked it or
Uh,
like kept it in the back of my mind. Like maybe this is connected.
I don't know because that came up when I was watching that documentary. Because it was like at some point, it felt like okay, how old are they? They're either going to be this old or this old. Like that
Mm
the what do you call it?
hmm. MO.
Mo had gotten too broad at some point. So I don't know.
Yeah. I was just about to say that because I think whoever did this, it wasn't the same MO. Like the first two, one of them was shot, and then this one was strangled. So it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah,
but
I
they
don't know.
say that's how you get away. Like if you are a serial killer, that's how you get away with it. You switch it up
Oh yeah,
so they
that's
won't
true.
link it. Yeah.
The first female victim, 12-year-old Angel Lanier, disappeared on March 4th, 1980. She left her home at around 4 p.m. wearing a denim outfit and was last seen at a friend's house. 6 days later, Angel's body was found in a wooded vacant lot along Campbellton Road wearing the same outfit she wore when she disappeared. A pair of white panties that didn't belong to her were found in her mouth, and her hands were bound with an electric cord. Her cause of death was strangulation, which is a connection,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
okay, to
To,
Yusuf.
yeah.
At this point, because this is all within the same year, right? At this
Mm-hmm.
point, or so, yeah,
1980. So she was, yeah, about the same
or
year.
within
Because it was 70, within two, because
some months, because
the
it was,
first was 79,
yeah, but it was what, like,
mid 79.
yeah, like
So
early summer.
July. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Milton was September and Yusuf was October. And now, but his body was found in November.
November.
Yeah. So this is the next year in March.
Okay.
So yeah,
So
some months.
at this point, you would think, like, why is nobody saying, this is weird? Like, why are all these kids missing? Like, and by nobody, I mean like law enforcement, not people in the city,
Yeah.
because of course,
No,
people
I
in the
know. Yeah.
city.
And I
Hmm.
think we know why.
Oh, well, because they were black children. Was that what you were going to say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these are children though.
Right.
I yeah,
But that's because
because oh, it is the South.
Well, yeah, and the fact that they didn't like they what do you call it? I was about to say alliteration. It is not called alliteration. So like when you they were seeing our children as adults, like they gave them like,
Oh,
oh, she's acting fast or
what is the term? I cannot think of. I know what you're talking about.
go ask my mom. Like, hey, real quick,
You for real?
what is it
You for real?
called? I was for real. Hey, what is it? What do you
Darn.
call? She'll be back in about 10 minutes.
1 week after Angel's disappearance, 11-year-old Jeffrey Mathis went missing while running an errand for his mother. Jeffrey was wearing gray jogging pants, brown shoes, and a white and green shirt. Months later, a girl said she saw him getting into a blue car with a light skinned man and a dark skinned man.
I just put a note. I just said this would lead you to believe that there could be more than one culprit.
Yes, and that's, well, I'll bring it up later because I thought about that too,
Yeah.
like in my final thoughts,
Oh, okay. Okay. I see what you.
because I
Okay.
had a mental note of that.
Okay.
But I mean, that's exactly what it sounds like, though.
Right.
And I want to say the color of the car.
I told you.
You got it? Okay, she got it.
It's in that paragraph right there. It's like they're adultified.
I couldn't think of the word.
Adultified.
Adultified. People.
Okay, you want me to read the sentence?
Yes. Adultified.
Okay. Okay, there is a legacy of racial discrimination and violence in the United States that dehumanizes, adultifies, and sexualizes Black boys and girls.
Which would explain, I think, too. Yeah. Which would go back to the whole, because that's gonna come to play in this too. Go back to
Oh,
like the
she got the
whole
whole, yeah,
what
because
the
the paragraph is highlighted. So,
okay.
because it's saying what you're saying, it's saying that it influences how they are perceived and how they are treated. By
Yep.
the age of 5, Black girls are regarded as being older than they are, as needing less nurturing and protection than white girls, and as being more knowledgeable about sex and other adult topics than white girls. And then it says around the age of 10, Black boys are seen as being 4.5 years older than they actually are.
Yep, which is why they were getting or well would get like harsher sentences when
Yeah,
committing the same crimes, which would also explain why the media coverage is like non-existent or they couldn't see their children in their shoes. Like they didn't really have empathy for their children
yeah,
going missing because it was like, well, he probably was out there maybe selling drugs or like street kids, like corner kids.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a book about yoga.
Balance. Balance. You
Yeah,
need yoga to fucking to deal with the stressors of racism.
that's true.
uh
Transforming ethic and race based traumatic stress with yoga.
Boom. Boom, coming soon. Coming soon.
Yeah, but
uh
yeah.
okay, still you.
So we're at the theory of two different men.
Right.
Jeffrey's body was found in a briar covered patch of woodlands 11 months after his disappearance. By this time, it was impossible to determine the cause of death.
Oh, there's a hold on, because there's a timeline. So I say that. Let me make sure we're not lying. Because there is a timeline.
You not lying.
No. Not unless you did put it in order in the thing. I didn't double check, but there's an actual
What?
timeline of events on HBO's website. Like I think from when
Oh,
stuff was happening to, let's see, who did we just talk about? Angel? No, Jeffrey.
Angel and then Jeffrey.
Let's
Yeah.
see. Jeffrey Mathis, February 13th. I can send you the link if you want me to. I wonder if I could put this link in the
Maybe you can put it, yeah, like in the
Oh,
sources.
yeah, like yeah, that's true. So really, it was like they were kind of dragging their feet for a while,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
what I had a note on that. So one of the notes that I had, it was taken from the documentary, was that the reason why they hadn't really like alerted the public was because the mayor didn't want to alert the city of the children's disappearances. um or because this, I think this was before, no, yeah, the children disappearances, or like alert them that they were finding those children, like finding them dead.
Oh,
So, because it's almost like, okay, well, I was thinking, well, why would you continue to let your children like go places by themselves, like send them to the store by themselves, whether it was day or night? But it was because they honestly really didn't have any idea that this was happening to this degree, that those kids were wanting to missing to this degree, because
and
the
the,
mayor never gave a statement about it.
and that's messed up because you need to know. Because I mean, you're gonna keep your kids at home,
Right.
so why wouldn't you let them know so people can keep their kids safe?
Right. Or even like, because I get you work, they were probably, like working class. Well, they were working class and then uh in poverty, but
Mm-hmm.
have them go in large groups. Like, because, we walked a
Yeah.
lot of places, but it wasn't like we were by ourselves. We had large groups of kids.
Yep, that's true.
14-year-old Eric Meadowbrooks disappeared on May 18th. He was last seen at home talking on the phone and then leaving in a hurry on his bike. His body was found the next day right next to his bike in the back of the garage of an Atlanta bar. That bar was next door to what used to be the Georgia Department of Offender Rehabilitation. Sex offender rehabilitation? Or just like a halfway house?
Uh, Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Eric's pockets were turned inside out and he had slight stab wounds on his arms and chest. His cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head. And never mind. I don't think anybody
What?
should die like that. But then it seems almost like he's treating them like adults. Like, why do you have to do all that? Like stabbing them or
Yeah.
shooting them, or
Yeah.
it just feels really intense. Maybe for me because they are children, it seems really intense.
Yeah. Yeah, because why would you do that? I don't understand killing people at all, but like these are children. They are
Right.
innocent. Why are you doing this?
Mm,
That's just sick.
it is sick. And I want to say by this point, because this is May, this is year two, right? The following year, 1980, in May.
Yeah.
Okay, so by this point, they're putting a little bit more effort into it, but obviously it's not enough because he's still doing this. But this is by the time that the president Ronald Reagan, that he like allocated $1 million in funds for them to get that assist to start that task force.
Yeah.
But
It
they
shouldn't
were
have
saying,
taken.
no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it shouldn't have taken that. They should have already been doing something. This is how many kids now?
Yeah, yeah, no, it shouldn't have taken all that, because what was I gonna say? Oh, that's what I was gonna say. And they were saying too that one of the moms, I can't think of her name. It was Cheryl something or other. She's on, because apparently they did this in that show Mindhunter.
Yeah, they did.
So she was the reason, she was the woman responsible basically for making them like actually take this seriously. One of the moms, but I
Oh.
cannot think of her name. I'm so sorry. Um but she was featured on that episode. They had a lady play her.
Oh, really? I didn't
Mhm.
watch the show, but I know it was on Netflix.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that it took a mom to do that. And basically, she was saying that even with the task force, they were just throwing stuff to the wall to see, like, to make it stick. Like, they were bringing out psychics, and they had all these
Yeah.
anonymous tips and like dogs and other stuff. And it was like nothing was working because obviously he's still continuing to kill these children.
Yeah. Yeah, this is frustrating.
It was a
So
shit
just
show.
imagine how the parents felt.
Yes. I think I put that on my notes because I was like, okay, imagine having to tell your children that, like, literally they had to sit at the table and say, okay, well, this is what's been happening. You could get kidnapped or murdered. Like, that, oh, this is what happened to your friend, like if it happened to one of their friends.
Yep.
And the fact that, like, this is serious, that's what it was. It gave me chills because I was like, was a serious threat. It wasn't like Freddy Krueger or the boogeyman. This was something that these children had to actually fear. It was a real life
Yeah.
threat.
12-year-old Christopher Richardson went missing on June 9th on his way to a pool party. He was last seen walking towards DeKalb County's Midway Recreation Center in Midway Park. His body wasn't found until the following January, and he was wearing swim trunks that were not his. Christopher's body was found along with the body of a later victim, Earl Terrell. His cause of death was not determined. So then I wonder, like, when Earl went missing and how long, because if for them not to be able to determine his cause of death, it had to be his body had to have been there a while.
Earl Terrell.
Yeah.
Okay, so they found them at the same time, but
Mm-hmm.
he went missing on July 30th.
Earl?
Yeah, Earl Terrell.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And then yep, because he's right there on that timeline with I'm glad I brought this timeline up. Right there with Christopher.
Yeah. Okay.
On June 22nd, 7-year-old Latanya Wilson went missing from her parents' apartment. According to a witness, she was abducted by two men. One of the men
Mm.
was seen climbing into the apartment window and then holding Latanya in his arms as he spoke to the other man in the parking lot. Her body was found in a fenced in area at the end of Verbena Street in Atlanta on October 18th. By this point, her body had been skeletonized and no cause of death could be determined.
So again, a different witness says two men.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And then this time they took her from her home. Like
That's
that's scary.
that is scary. That was the one that I was like, man, you're not even, so you tried to say, okay, well, even if you were saying, okay, make sure you're not by yourself. We've had all these conversations, but then you are snatching the kids from their own homes.
Yeah.
This one lady in the documentary was saying she didn't even let her kids sleep. Like, if the window was open, she couldn't. They weren't sleeping in the room by
Yeah.
themselves.
I don't blame her.
That's crazy.
The next day, on June 23rd, 10-year-old Aaron Weish disappeared after being seen near a local grocery store getting into a blue Chevrolet with one or two black men. A female witness says she saw Aaron being led from Tanner's Corner Grocery by a 6 foot tall black man about 30 years old with a mustache and goatee. Her description of the car matched the description of a similar car implicated in the Jeffrey Mathis disappearance. At about 6 o'clock p.m., Aaron was seen at a shopping center. The next day, his body was found under a bridge. The cause of death was asphyxiation from a broken neck suffered in a fall. So, again, you have the two men in the same color car
Right.
as seen by different witnesses. Because I think this is by this point three different witnesses that are describing the same thing. two black men, and a blue car.
Right. So you should be, what do you call it? Putting out APB, ABP, AB, AB, ABPs, ABP, APBs. Hell,
Yes.
what you call them?
Yeah.
What I
APB,
say?
all points bulletin.
All
You said a whole
points,
bunch of stuff.
all points bulletin. That's when you call it.
Yes, APB.
On the blue car and two men, so light skin and a dark skin.
Yep. One with a mustache and goatee. 6 foot tall. 30 years old.
Yeah, all of those.
In July 1980.
In 1980, two more children, 9-year-old Anthony Carter and 10-year-old Earl. Didn't we talk about Earl Terrell?
Yeah.
Were
So, because the way I did it, I just put him earlier because they found his body with the other kid.
Dang it. So
So,
I take that back. They didn't start the task force until after this happened. Because it was like, because
oh,
of the number of children, they were just like,
Earl was the one found with um
Christopher?
uh Christopher. Yeah.
Okay. And then, yes, this is around the time that the mayor, Maynard Jackson, who does not look black at all, because he's black, but to me, he did not look black at
Yeah.
all. He looked like,
Mm-mm.
what's her name? Don't tell me, don't tell me, don't tell me, don't tell me.
Did you say what's her name?
Yes. He do kind of look like James Earl Jones, but he also looks like, dang, what was her name? The white lady. Why can I not think of her name? The
Uh
white lady that got in trouble for posing as black.
what?
What is her name?
Rachel
Rachel
Dolezal?
Dolezal. That's what he looked like. He looked like he's just a white man and was like living his life as a black man. No
You
offense
know
to
what?
Mayor
Okay.
Maynard Jackson's fan. Look at him. Go look at him. Because when they
I just
showed
looked at
him,
him.
oh, I was like, a black mayor? He don't look black. But yes. But that was when he
Okay.
reached out and was like, okay, we're gonna, including the Atlanta PD, then we're gonna partner with the Georgia Bureau of Investigations and create that
Yeah.
task force. That's when that happened. 13-year-old Clifford Jones went missing on August 20th. He was found the next day behind a dumpster of the former Hollywood Plaza shopping center. The cause of death was strangulation.
So it seems like he kind of has an MO because I think only one of them he shot. The rest were either strangled or like it was blunt force trauma.
Yeah.
So it's kind of starting to become the same.
Yeah.
10-year-old Darren Glass was reported missing on September 14th, and his body has never been recovered. Huh, that's crazy because how did they find all of the children except for him?
I don't know. I have no idea. And then it was
Yeah.
mentioned that, yeah, kind of whoever this is, he, them, her, that they were kind of using the same places. So I don't know. Maybe this was,
Yeah.
that leads me to believe that this was completely, well, that this wasn't him. It either was not him or for whatever reason that they changed, he or they changed the location completely.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and this is around the time that they put in a citywide curfew for all children under the age of 15. But it was like, why? Like, the after the first few children were missing,
Yeah.
after you found the first two bodies,
You know,
like, there should have been a curfew implemented. And then the curfew was just that you have to be out the streets after 11 p.m. But it's like, that's kind of late. I'm not on the streets at 11.
yeah. Yeah. Is this where you remember well, you probably don't because you're young,
Do you
but there
know?
was a, there was like an ad that used to come on TV, and it's like it would say like it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your
Know where your
children
children
are?
are. Yeah.
Is that where that came from? I wonder. Cause was that the
Uh,
80s?
Probably was.
That's kind of what that reminds me of when you said a curfew.
Let's see.
Because, yeah, it was something like that that will come on late.
Let's see. Origin. The ominous question. New curfews had gone into effect in several cities across the U.S. Oh no, this say something about 1967.
Oh, wow.
Something about New York City feeling the effects of Newark riots. And
No, I'm talking
then
about just that particular ad.
no, I know I'm looking. News anchor Tom
Oh.
Gregory started using the question to kick off. Let's see. So Tom Gregory. Wait, hold on. That said nothing. That had nothing to do with nothing. What? It literally said the origin story of do you know where your children are? It's 10 o'clock somewhere.
Oh, it was the 60s.
Okay, so that was right.
Yeah.
It's
Because it
1967.
says it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? From the late 1960s through the late 1980s.
Yeah, because it started based on a series of riots that took place in major cities.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the more you know.
The
And
more
that
you know.
came from, that was an ad too. Something. 12-year-old Charles Stevens was reported missing on October 9th. His body was found the next day and he had been strangled. So, yes, it's the same.
Yeah,
MO.
strangulation again. And then they were saying the way or there are pictures if you want to see them, but the way that the bodies were placed were often similar.
Oh,
Yeah, so like sometimes it'd be like an arm above the head or like the way that they were placing them, they
yeah.
looked alike.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Mhm. Aaron Jackson was 9 years old when he went missing. He was found strangled lying face up on a riverbank. Patrick Rogers, who was 16, knew several of the previous victims. He went missing on November 30th. Patrick's body was found on December 7th in the Chattahoochee River. Authorities speculated that he was dropped from the bridge above. So,
I
so
remember
yeah,
that too.
this now I can say is after the FBI joined that task force, the GBI, and so this
Okay.
is, and it's whatever else was I about to say, and then by this point there were large groups of people coming out like every week, to do those searches, those abandoned like to search like
Oh,
abandoned
yeah.
areas and woods.
Yeah. The murders continued into 1981. Luby Getter was the first known victim of the new year. Luby disappeared on January 3rd and his body was found on February 5th. 15-year-old Terry Pugh, who was Luby's friend, went missing in January. An anonymous caller told authorities where to find the body. Terry lived in the same apartment complex as Edward Smith, who was murdered in 1979.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
It's just like, what's that saying? Like when somebody says people are dropping like flies, that's what it feels like. Like it's like happening. It's happening a lot, and it seems like it's just happening like back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
Well, not
Yeah,
seems, it
because this
is.
whole thing was only over like what, 2 or 3 years? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's scary. When you think about it, that is scary. And then the fact that they were kind of trying to keep it from the public.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
it
that's
is
just
scary.
scary.
It is scary, and I think too the fact that they were friends is was scarier for me because it's like, okay, this happened to your child, and then it's like, okay, then it happens to your child's friend, and it's just like, oh my gosh.
And they live in the same apartment complex.
Enough is
Yeah.
enough. And then yeah, the fact
Yep.
that Luby Getter was seen like not that far away from home, like seen 12 to 14 miles away from home. And then
Yeah.
who was it? The one that was taken from their home, like snatched out of the window.
Oh, that was the little
Ah,
girl.
Latanya.
I think so.
Yeah, Latanya Wilson. Yep.
Yeah.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
In February and March 1981, six more bodies were found, and they were believed to be linked to the previous homicides. Among these six victims was Eddie Duncan, the first adult.
Yeah, that's scary too because now whoever this is, they just I don't know. I can't even the fact that now it's random because first the target was children, but now it's just random. So
Right.
now it's even more panic because not only do you have to worry about your kids, now you have to worry about yourself. Like that is just not safe at that time.
Yeah, that was one of my notes that I felt like whoever is doing this started, well, you have to have some sort of an ego to be a serial killer, I think anyway,
Hmm.
but I feel like they were getting more confident. I feel like at first
Yeah.
they were attacking children because that was like an easy kill, and then it was like, okay, I've done this for so long and I've killed and kidnapped so many of them. What happens if I kill an adult? Like, let me see if I can take down an adult.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it sounds like. That is ugh. Like I can't even imagine like what they were going through in Atlanta.
No, no. In the documentary, they show a clip of the mayor. I think she it's still the same mayor, right? Of Atlanta, the lady or
Keisha?
the black lady.
Keisha Lance
Yeah.
Bottoms?
I
Yeah.
want to say it was her that was in the documentary, and she was saying that she was a kid during that time and how
Yeah.
scared they were, like how
Yeah.
terrifying that was for them. She got emotional too. It's like I can't even imagine.
Yep. In April, 20-year-old Larry Rogers, 28-year-old John Porter, and 21-year-old Jimmy Ray Payne were murdered. John and Jimmy were ex convicts that had just been released from prison.
Do you think? Well, no, I guess it was still kind of the same MO. They were just adults. Because I was gonna say, do you think by this point though that there was so much panic that the adults maybe they were just adding into that category with them because it was a similar MO. They just so happened to be an adult? Or do you think the same person is
Oh,
responsible?
yes, but it'll come up later, and I'll tell you
Okay.
why I think. Yeah.
It'll come up
Yeah.
later, like they got to tune into the next episode later.
Yeah.
Okay.
I keep forgetting.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, because it comes in with the suspect.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. On May 12th, FBI agents discovered the body of William Barrett on a curb in a wooded area near his home. A witness described a black man standing over and observing the location where the body was found before driving off in a white over blue Cadillac. So there by this time though there is kind of he has kind of established, so whether or not they found a victim in the river, they were either now by this point either finding them in rivers or finding them near banks of rivers by
Yes.
this point.
Yes.
Okay, so by this point is when the FBI says, let's basically they set up surveillance. They're like, okay, we think the next victim is going to either wash up on a
And
bank
that's
or
gonna come up later. Exactly that.
okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
But I was no, I wanted to go back to the car because
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they mentioned before what type of car it was, but blue has always been the color. But this one is white over blue. And I think, would you think that would be like a huge difference other than them just saying blue? Because white over blue, the top part is white and the bottom half it's blue. But everybody else was saying they just saw a blue car.
And I don't know if it's just a me thing or if this is an age thing. I had to look up white over blue because I didn't know what they meant by that. So you're saying, is it like, because when you look it up, it's like the top is white and then the bottom is
I
blue. Is that
literally just said that word for
okay?
word.
I was making sure that's what you said. It was because I was looking up. It was because I was looking it up while you were talking. And I was like, wait, did she say white? I didn't know how you said it because I was not paying attention. I
I
apologize. I was looking it up.
What you just said, I said that word for word verbatim.
I was also, and I apologize. Also, I was looking at this big ass bug. It's a big ass bug sitting outside my window, and it's stressing me out. So I apologize. Like if you see me
I mean,
doing this, it's because I'm looking at it, and I realize it's outside, and I shouldn't be stressed. But I feel like it's gonna find a way to come through the window. But
oh,
okay,
understandable. Yeah.
I mean, if I saw okay, so if I saw this vehicle, which what it probably was, because now that I think about it, I think they showed it in the documentary. I would probably say it was a blue vehicle. I don't think that I would. Well, I'm pretty detail oriented, but I can see someone, especially if it was a kid, too, saying, "Okay, it was a blue vehicle."
Okay. Yeah. Because that's what I was asking. I was like, do you think that makes enough of a difference? Like when they're getting into the investigation and his lawyers could be like, oh, they just said blue. They didn't say white over blue or white and blue. And then I don't remember if they said it was a Cadillac or if they said it was a Chevy. And I could just be thinking Chevy because I'm thinking of Supernatural because I was just watching it. But
No, that sounds. I think maybe that's gonna come into play too. But again, when you're asking, like, because we talk about like the significance of events. I think we brought this up in another episode, but the significance of events in your day. So it's like
hmm
if you're going to Taco Bell to get a Mexican pizza, even though they sold out everywhere right now, and you see a car, you might be like, yeah, I know the car is red, but I don't remember the make or model. Maybe it
yeah,
was a Chevy. I don't know.
yeah. And then kids don't know enough about cars. I don't even know about cars. So I can definitely tell you the color, but I'm not necessarily uh I guess I could tell a maker model, but then these were kids at the time. So,
That's true.
yeah, so I
I
don't
don't know.
know. At the end of May 1981, the last reported victim was 27-year-old Nathaniel Carter. He was last seen by a gardener at the entrance of the Rialto Theater in Atlanta, allegedly holding hands with a man named Wayne Williams. His body was discovered hours later. Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing.
Any final thoughts about the victims, what's happened so far?
Me? You want me to go first? Uh,
Sure. Or you want me
sure.
to go first?
It don't matter. Yeah, I have thoughts. I don't know. I mean, I just reiterate the fact that this is sad. Like you always say, I don't think this should have happened. Like it should not have gotten to this
Mm-mm.
point. I wasn't alive back then. I know like DNA testing and things like that were scarce, non-existent in cases. But I just feel like there could have been a little more effort, a little more media coverage, and I feel like a lot of it was because they were trying to portray Atlanta as like this, not a safe haven, that's not the word that I'm looking for, but like just like this affluent, like come here, spend your money here, like everything's good, look the other way type stuff, instead of being like, okay, no, there's still a lot of poverty in Atlanta, and also our children are going missing. I feel like that was, they were trying to sweep that under the rug. I also know that I feel like too they could have maybe, I don't know if they brought in, cuz back in the 70s there were like a number of known pedophiles in Atlanta.
Oh, I didn't
So,
know that.
yeah, and I don't know if they followed that lead, so to speak, because like it was known that like pedophiles used to approach kids, especially poor kids, and like pay them for sexual favors. Like say, okay, I'll give you $5 if you come home with me or something like that. And the little boys, they didn't know any better. They were just like, okay, I can make money, and then they were following up on that. So I think too that was something that they could have looked into that I don't think that they really looked into. It just doesn't seem like they did enough research for my taste. And then it felt like it took them a while. Like when the police, the local police felt saw that they couldn't figure it out, it should have been immediately that they brought the FBI in. It felt like it took them a while to do that. It felt like they didn't even act on that until that one mom started calling them out and getting them, and then starting to get the media involved, and they were like, okay, well, I guess now we have to do something because now the media is involved.
Yeah, I have a lot of the same thoughts because if if the media would have gotten involved, if they would have let it be known like, hey, children are going missing, then I feel like on the parents' end, it would have been a little bit more effort. It would have been more effort for them to keeping their child safe.
Oh yeah.
Because by them not really knowing what's going on, of course they're going to let their kids go out and do this and do that. But if they would have known, I'm pretty sure they would have kept their kids at home, even though the one child was taken from her home. But I mean, just put it out there, make an effort, and maybe it wouldn't have gotten as bad if they would have done that. So I feel pretty much the same way you do.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it happened back then and it's still happening now.
Yep.
But you just have to pray that it gets better.
Yeah, I think it's getting better. I think with social media, because social media
Oh,
will call stuff out. And social media really is like bittersweet in some instances. Like it can be
yeah.
used for good, it can be used for harm, but like it can definitely be used to hold people, to hold law enforcement accountable. And if they don't do their job, somebody sitting in their mom's basement gonna do their job. They gonna find, you know what I'm talking
That
about.
yes,
They gonna
that is
find that
true.
who did
The
it.
internet sleuths.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But that is all for part one, folks. You have to tune in next week. We will go into more theories and suspects. It's going to get a little crazy.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at It's a Strange World Podcast, Twitter at Pod Strange World, and on Facebook and TikTok at It's a Strange World After All. Also, turn on those notifications for our Instagram posts so that you can keep up with our hashtag Myth Mondays and hashtag Strange Saturdays posts.
Yes, we would love to hear from you. What did you think of this week's episode? What are your theories? If you have any theories right now, let us know. Also, if there's anything else in the world of strange or any true crime cases that you would like us to cover, let us know. Have you ever heard a strange bump in the night? Have you ever seen shadow figures moving about? Have you ever stumbled upon something unexplainable? We want to know about it, and with your permission, share it with our listeners. You can email those submissions to itsastrangeworldafterall@gmail.com or DM us at any other social media platforms D mentioned.
Thank you for tuning into another episode of
It's a strange world after all. And thank you, as always, for keeping it strange with us. Make sure you come back for
Thank
part
you.
2. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.